Good evening and welcome to the regular city council meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Let it be known that all members of the council are present, and I'm going to look to Councilmember Alvarado to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead us in the invocation tonight.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Father, thank you so much for this day you have given us. I thank you for just the provisions that you have blessed this city with, the opportunities that we have had, even the groundbreaking ceremony today, just to be amongst your people. And the greatest asset that Shafter has is its people. So I just pray wisdom and guidance in our conversations. Help us continue to look forward with Shafter and the great things that are to come. We thank you and love you. Amen. Amen. Okay. With that said, I'm going to move into an approval of agenda. This evening, I know of two items, so I want to make sure I talk about these two items. I'll start with the consent calendar on item number 15. We'd like to have that pulled to management report number 5, please. So it'll begin discussions. And then I would also like to push management report number 5, which is the sales tax initiative for the public outreach. Just for a little bit greater clarity, like to see if there's a way we can do some type of workshop with that. So it just.
We'll set it up for a workshop in the next one.
I appreciate that. So yeah, if you can move that to a workshop. And then again, consent calendar item number 15 to be in its place, which would be management report number 5. Questions or comments? Otherwise, I need, if nothing else being moved or adjusted, I need a motion to approve amended agenda.
I move approve.
No second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Let me write this down real quick. Sorry, guys. All righty. All right, with that said, we have presentations this evening, and I can see who's supposed to be up here. I like the sweaters. I like what's going on. So we're going to ask our Lady Generals to come join us on stage here in a second. And guys, if I can have your help with the awards. I can talk. Sorry.
You want all of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Couch up there. Ours.
Second year coach too. Is that girl? The girl, yeah. Yeah. The boys. You know, we had a cool conversation today at our groundbreaking ceremony. And the one thing that makes Shafter so special is its people. And having the ability to promote you ladies and the season you had, that means the world to us. For nothing more than to say congratulations, you did awesome. You guys are showing Shafter well. Coach over here is showing Shafter well, and just love watching what you guys do and love watching how this community rallies around. So what we're gonna do, I have one special one that I want to make sure we address first. Oh, you want to address it last? Okay, we have one special we're gonna address last. So she has that. Right, I'm gonna hand these to you guys. And hopefully I'm doing this in order. And as you hear your name called, we're gonna come up, shake some hands, and then I'm gonna, where do they go? Stand off the side, what do you wanna do?
Yeah, I
You're
would
in
send to
charge.
the side and remove the group one.
Okay, first and foremost, I do wanna say congratulations to Coach, on a great season. Year number 2 for the ladies, year number 3 for the boys. And man, you picked this up and you've done a fantastic job. So congratulations, Coach. Much appreciated. And I think you've got one from each. You get one, yes. All right, here we go. Well, they're Adeline Aguilar. Congratulations, congratulations. Wait, you have more coming? I apologize. Yeah, so I guess I should have said that. We also have Supervisor Couch's, awards tonight, as well as Congressman David Valadero, so they're giving one of each awards tonight. Amy Baton. Oh, I know, well, I'll get everyone up. You're right, though. Vida, I'm gonna, listen, if I mess up the name. Vida de Rasi, that's down? Am I saying that right?
Not even close.
Not even close. Paulina Barroques. Thank you. Congratulations. Jocelyn with Bien Rostro. Stay down with the side, yep. That's like, yep, top one. Thank y'all. No, I don't think Jocelyn. Okay. Bear with us. Mariana Cortez. I'll get her in a second. Mariana Cortez. Well, Brianna is not here either. Congratulations. Brianna is not here. All right, so congratulations to her. So now, yeah. Don't ever let me organize stuff. It's not working for you. Did she showed up? Yeah. Okay. Where's Marty? Yeah, okay. So this young lady, come on up, come on up. You have something special as well. You made it, it's all that matters. What is happening here? Undefeated, huh? You wanna talk about it? No, not really. That is yours. But no, it's not gonna work.
She's a little shy, but Marely, the last 2 years, she's been playing tennis for 3 years. She was a basketball player, but then I didn't go for the, I'm a coach for the real sport now. The last 2 years in all of her competitions, she's undefeated.
Yeah.
I don't know how many matches, I lost count, but she lost 0 matches in the last 3 years. And this year, as a senior, she won our XFL undefeated league champion. So that's something.
Emma Esquivel. Congrats. Sophia Gomez. Or junior to beyond, you don't pay. Lily Gonzalez. Make sure you have Lily. Congratulations. Isabella Maldonado. Nobody wants to really Yararly Martinez. We'll look for the one missing. Eliana Munoz. Okay, that's working. Davili Tara. Natalie Perez. Congratulations. Abigail Ramirez. And Katrina Ramirez. Ladies, great job on a great season. Great job on a great season. Give it up for your ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, I'm gonna have you guys, stage room. You wanna go join? You guys get in with your flags. Or maybe behind here.
Yeah, yours is.
Maybe
Oh, yeah, you too. I think it's.
Oh, no, yeah.
Wait, what's in anything? And then the rest in here in front. We're gonna do windows here. Yeah, you're good. You two want to go in the back? Oh. Here? Yeah, you. Get in the window. No, you two. Yeah.
We promise we'll
Yeah,
stay with you.
window means between.
Yeah, window, sorry. You wanna go up? Can we fit one more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna go up? One step up. Kind of, just to make a window there.
Oh my God, you have a look what happened. Wait, no.
Yeah, we need windows, so behind them. There you go. Sorry, parents. Oh, and the one right behind you. There we go. Wanna make sure we get everyone's faces, okay? I'm gonna use the cell phone to take her. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Your pose, Karen, do you guys wanna grab a photo? Holding.
There you go. How the heck weird. They did the food trans. Go pretty well. Yeah, I want you to say something.
With the mic and everything?
Come on.
So I was just asked to say something about the team real quick. These ladies, just so you know, none of them, even Marelli, are undefeated league champion. They never played tennis before they got to high school. Never, ever.
Cool.
So a lot of the little girls that are hesitant and say, well, I never played. So I tell them, take a look at them because they never played. And I think only 2 of them played 4 years, maybe. Most of them played 2 years. So they do an amazing work. Like I said, this year they went undefeated, 12-0 in league. That never happened in school history. That's why we're getting recognized. We have won league before, but never undefeated. So these ladies did an amazing job. Last year, we were league co-champions. We lost one and Chavez lost one. Sorry, Chavez is our hated rival. And it's, yes, from Delano. Last year, we made it to the Valley Championship, but they moved us up one division. And guess who we encounter at the Valley Championship? Chavez. Okay, and unfortunately, we lost 4-5 by one match, but it was the first time for these ladies. This year, unfortunately, for Valley, we went out a little bit earlier than expected, but still, they did an amazing job, and I'm proud of my team. And thank you to mayor and council members and the city of Shafter. They deserve this little recognition. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Maldonado,
Go.
you can go. I want to say one thing about you. You have been a source of excellence for such a long time, and you've taken programs over. I know this is fairly new for tennis for you, and you've done so much. I've had the opportunity to sit with Boosters Club, and I watch how much you're moving around and the things you're touching and doing. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for just taking the time to invest in the young ladies, for caring enough to make sure that the program continues on. And literally in the 2 years that you've been there, you've been a Valley champs. You've been walking that path twice now. So that's a testament to you and what you continue to provide. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing what you're doing. And ladies, thank you for showing up and showing out and just being the best part of Shafter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He knows the routine. Yeah, you can stay and watch the council meeting, or you can go sit on a couch, do homework. Is it finals week? No? Yes? I don't feel the excitement on that statement. Good job. Good job. Congratulations. I love watching students get that. That's so cool. I know. That's so cool. Okay, well, with that said, we're going to move into public comment. Public comments for any person wishing to speak on any item included on the agenda or on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Speakers are invited to speak from the podium and address the city council. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is needed for translation. Please state your name and address for the record before making your presentation. At this time, public comment is open. I was going to let you go last, sir, but okay.
Set up close.
I see that. You ready to go home too?
No.
Oh.
Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, Randy Milligan, your Chief of Police. I would like to formally introduce our new Assistant Chief, Brian Knox, who comes with extensive background in law enforcement and a proven record of leadership. He has already got to work on several projects, one involving our new substation, which he will be overseeing. I'll stop talking, and I know he wants to say a few words.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council. Like Chief Milligan said, and Brian Knox, I am excited to be here and join the Shafter team, and I've just been impressed with the community as they've accepted me and welcomed me, and overall the efficiency with the city runs and the morale under City Manager Lippincott is just outstanding. And I have to say the same with Chief Milligan and the police department. The morale there is great, and the efficiency of everything that is running is absolutely excellent. So I'm excited to be here and just be a cog in this wheel and keep things moving forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining the Shafter team. Shafter patches look good on you, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Much appreciated having you a part of us. Council, anything to add or say?
I know I ran into it, what event it was, but I was asking you, so I call you, well, what is it I call you, assistant chief or chief or AC, okay, that's easy. But again, just welcome aboard and got some exciting times ahead. So just like they say, put your seatbelt on, go. So.
Right.
We love to welcome you. Yeah, I'm sure you already know that from your oath of office. But I was also pleased in meeting your wife and the support that you have in your family. I think that's most important too, whenever you're living your life and every day whenever you do your job. And we appreciate our service guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. I know we've got the opportunity to talk a little here and there and stuff, but happy to have you and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to say welcome aboard. Congratulations, and I think you're going to be a fine addition to our police force. So I'd just like to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Well, good having you, my friend. Son of a preacher. I gotta tell you, that is so awesome. That is so awesome when you said that earlier. So he's definitely gonna have something to say. You know that already. He's already made fun of me about that, so it's gonna be fantastic. Good to see you, my friend. Good to have
Thank
you
you.
on board.
I think there's a song, right? Son of a preacher.
Yes. Yeah. I thought you said song at first. No, I don't
Oh.
do songs.
Well, I was really excited. So we were gonna sing like first. Okay,
I think there was a song
Okay.
named Son of a Preacher.
we were getting close to that one. He's like, man, I've never been asked to sing before. Any other public comment at this time? Okay, yes, ma'am. I like your Christmas sweater, by the way.
First, I want to say congratulations to the tennis team. They're great. And my name's Deanna Rodriguez Root. Been living here all my life. My grandfather, just to give you an idea, was one of the pioneers here, Latino pioneer, Mexican American. I am a co-chair of Chapter Cinco de Mayo, and I'm very worried about what's going on right now. I understand that Shafter Lions had to pay $13,000 to put on their event. I never heard of that before. Nobody contacted me or anybody at Cinco de Mayo that was going to happen. Well, if that's the case, there will be no more Cinco de Mayo after 35 years, because we are all volunteers on Cinco de Mayo. We have a very small committee, which is 10 to 12. And we have never, people have the idea that we get paid by the city, but we always have to correct them and say, no, the city assists us in having Cinco de Mayo, and we appreciate it. And, but we're all volunteers for 35 years. And our focus is scholarships for our kids. And I'm proud to say that we have nurses, lawyers, and at Cal Poly, at some of the universities, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm very proud of other organizations that do that. But we cannot afford $20,000 or more for our event, because I became aware that the Shafter Lions had to pay $13,000 for 4 hours. Well, our event goes from 6:30 in the morning, because we have to have the booths put up, the booths come in and set up, until 7 o'clock for cleanup and all. So there's no way that we could pay that amount. It's sad, because I felt like this should have been brought before the organizations and let us know this was going to happen a year prior. Not, our event is supposed to be coming up 4 months from now. There's no way we have seed money for this year, but we always say that seed money to begin our next event. So at this short notice, there's no way. And I appreciate the fact that the council has in kind $25,000. And that's how Gilbert paid for half of his, for what he had to pay. But we don't have that. We don't have a council member on the council. So we are going to have to give that money out of pocket. And the thing about it is, we have sponsors. And the sponsors were for the fact that we didn't want our community to have to pay for entry fees, because these families have big families in this community, and they're a working community. And we wanted to make it free for them. So that's why we went after our sponsors. And they've been loyal, our businesses that support us. And we love them for that. But I can't understand why this is being done. It was never brought forth publicly. It's been years ago, I heard something like this, but it died down. Then all of a sudden it crept up now. I want to know, I'd like to know whose idea it was and why it was voted on before even consulting the community. Because this is taxpayer money, you know? If we can go after one of our own for $30,000 of taxpayer money, why can't we support organizations like ours that are volunteer? And as you can tell, my voice is shaking right now because I'm passionately believe in this. My husband and I started this because, number one, we wanted to bring the community of Shafter together. This was in the 90s. It's been 35 years. And we were going toward that way. I felt very strongly about that. But now this comes. This is only going to divide us. And I hate to say that, but already I hear, you know, rumors and gossip and stuff like that. And I don't like that, not here in Shafter. So that is my concern. I want to know if we can come up. I haven't even had a meeting with my committee, my Cinco de Mayo committee yet, to let them know this, what we can work out to where we don't have to have so many police at the park. We don't need all the force. We can have a couple of police and then we can hire security. But if we have to cut down, we'll cut down, or else we're going to have to cancel. And I just wanted to make you aware of that. And it's taking something very positive away from the community. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Rue. May I stop you for 1 second?
Yes.
I apologize for my brevity on it, because I know I've been gone for a little bit. Not sure where that information came from. The in-kind services, and we'll talk about it tonight because it is part of the agenda, but the in-kind services have always been there. And so even for the last 35 years for Cinco de Mayo, the in-kind services are there, which, as you noted, any of our police services, any of our public works services, city staff services, that's not something that ever gets charged back to any organization. So what you said is absolutely accurate. We want to make sure that Cinco de Mayo continues on. The only reason this conversation came up, which was a year ago, give or take, and again, we'll talk more about it tonight, was better accounting on our end to make sure that we know where this stuff is going to and how do we account for it from a financial point of view. But that doesn't actually change the fact that we still want to make sure those events are processed and done. Just like we want to make sure Lions Club continues, well, with the Christmas parade, we want to make sure First Fridays continues. We want to make sure Cinco de Mayo continues. So stay put, because we are talking about tonight and we'll have more clarity on it.
I want to let you know really quick that we always have to report to the IRS.
Yep.
And we have a treasurer that does that, Luis Rodriguez, that was the principal of Sequoia years back. And he takes care of that and reports to the Shafter Chamber of Commerce. And because we're under the umbrella of the chamber.
Yes, ma'am.
They just support us and let us use their insurance. But believe me, I know we have to have everything. I'm on the school board and I know we've got to follow Brown's Rule of Orders, you know, and we have to show what we have and where we're spending it. So I agree with that. And thank you for the information because I didn't know the in-kind part.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunately something, a lot of folks don't realize what that is. And so, you know, we can't just blanket it. We have to have it coming from somewhere.
Exactly.
But again, that clarity will come tonight when we talk through that. So don't run too far. That way you see what's going on. But I can tell you, you have a council body who still wants to make sure that's supported.
I was upset.
You've got the best Cinco de Mayo program.
It's in the state.
I know. And so we don't want to see that go away.
Okay,
Thank you for your words.
Thank you.
All right. Any other public comment this evening? All right. Hearing none, nothing online. All right. Very good. Public comment is closed. At this time, I'm going to look to our council announcements and reports. And Council Member Alvarado, I'll start with you this evening.
You know, excuse me. We did have, as Lions had 2 events this month. I'll just recap on one of them and I'll let Mayor Pro Temp recap on the other one. I'll recap on the Christmas parade. There was actually 3 sponsors on the Christmas parade. There was Councilmember Prout and Mayor Pro Temp Gus Olivera, and myself. Where were the 3 sponsors for the? There was 4 now. Who's the 4th one? Okay, so we had 4 sponsors for the cost of the $13,000 that was, what would you call it?
I was to cover city staff services for setup, tear down, traffic mitigation, everything.
But it's the bill at the end of the day.
Right.
Indirectly, it's the bill.
I mean, we don't bill anybody, but
That's true, but
Yeah.
it still comes out of taxpayers.
100%.
It's always been like that, yes, sir.
Yes, okay, so there were 3 sponsors. Thank God that we had, I'm sorry, there's 4 sponsors, and thank God we had 4 sponsors. Otherwise, we didn't have no sponsors, then the Lions would have to pick up the tab, correct? So in this case, it was a great success. The event was great. We had a good turnout. The only problem that we had was stinking cold. It's freezing. Sheesh. We almost thought there was gonna snow there for a moment, but as far as entries, I believe we had like 43 entries. We had 6 food vendors, and we did have one vendor that was selling toys and items in the surrounding, or in the more or less in the surrounding of the park. So that's all we had as far as vendors and that were participating. We had the bounce house. We had Santa Claus. We did give away about like 9 Christmas trees. We raffled them off for free. They went home with 9. Somebody went home. 9 families went home with some Christmas trees. And all this happens because of sponsors and support of the community. And again, the city for allowing us to be able to do this in the community of Shafter to give back to the community. And overall, other than the coldness, it was a nice night. I think we ended up closing about close to 9 o'clock that night. Other than that, I didn't hear any other reports unless city manager has some reports on anything else. But other than that, everything went smooth and good, which is good. That's what you want. You want a good event to happen and for everybody to enjoy. And just like I mentioned a couple of nights ago, if you look at the Shafter Press, look at the front page, that's the objective. The little kids there on the front page having fun with Santa Claus. As far as they're concerned, they don't care about anything else other than just having fun and making memories. And that's what we try to do as a service club, giving back to our community. And again, I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, because I'm sure, as you know, being a service club, a nonprofit, it doesn't, you need money, you need sponsors, or else we don't exist. That's just basically how it works. And the cooperation of the whole city as a whole. And because everybody working together, this was successful. So that's all I have to report. And thank you, everybody who participated and made this successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Prout.
Yes, I attended the welcoming, I presented the welcome statements at the tree lighting and our junior high choir presentation that we had downtown prior to going over to be in the parade and participate in their festivities too. It was enlightening. We had our distinguished woman who was up on to the official lighting, and it was well received. She represents us very well. And the parade and everything that I saw, I mean, I was in it. We had the ambulance and the fire truck behind us in our unit with constant noise, so we had a fun time. It was fun. And it wasn't too cold. You just had to wear warm clothes. Also, I wanted to say we attended our city appreciation for our employees, which was last Friday, and we had it here at the Vets Hall. It was well attended, and they had a fun time playing after with casino night, and you play with paper money, but you get chips in the end. So then they won prizes. And I want to say too, we recognized, I think 12 or 15 employees for their longevity service to the community. So that was always pleasant. So at this time, I just want to say on behalf of all of our citizens, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Councilmember, that's everything?
Mhm.
Sorry. Councilmember Espinosa.
But isn't either.
I was like, that was a first for you.
Oh, no.
Okay, nope, wait.
No, you gotta talk. Wow, yeah.
I knew something was different
Yeah.
there.
Well, we had our groundbreaking for our substation, which of course a lot of you have seen and heard about. Some of you were there too, which was really an outstanding event. But then I was invited and encouraged to go to McFarland because they didn't have a police station. They haven't had a police station since in the mid-50s. And they've been operating out of their city hall, which hasn't been very efficient. They did get some money from the state, just like we did. They only got 5 million, we got 6. But they needed it desperately, but they had to go out and they had to they had to really work to get their money, in addition to the 5 million that they did get. But they had a very similar groundbreaking ceremony, just like we did, other than it gives them a full-fledged police department, and it's located just behind their GEO prison that they have there. And it'll expand out. They didn't have to buy the land, which was another plus. And so they're going to have other activities in that same area. So it was nice to be there and was well attended, and you were there too. So yeah, we were very well welcomed and accepted for Shafter. They certainly recognize us, so we could put our head up high.
Now you got it.
There-
Now I feel better. All right, Councilmember Espinoza.
On the 5th, I did attend the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and I was part of the Christmas parade. And on that note too, I would like to make the contribution to the in-kind contribution to the Lions Club. On Saturday, I did make it out to the museum, the Shafter Museum out at the airport, and for Santa Claus flying in, and boy, there was a lot of kids. They were wrapped around the area there inside the hangar area. So I'm glad to see that. On the 12th, I did attend the CDAC Employee Appreciation Dinner, and that was a nice turnout. The food was good. There was a lot of people that showed up to participate, so I'm happy about that. And then today, I did show up out at the groundbreaking ceremony for the police station and the library that's going to be installed out there. So I'm happy about that. And you're going to have somewhere to go, Assistant Chief. You're going to have your own little place out there. But anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I have some. First of all, I want to apologize for missing a few meetings. My job requires me to travel, and some of these trips have not been for me to dictate the schedule. It's just been conferences and things of that nature. But coming back, the Christmas parade kicked off. I literally landed and went straight to meet with Councilmember Alvarado to get the things going for the Christmas parade, which was, I think, very successful. Attended the employee appreciation dinner, recognized, like Mayor Proud said, or I'm sorry, Councilmember Proud said, about 12, 15 employees for their recognition on their service years to the city. And then we had our food distribution this last Saturday, and it's been quite the success for us. I think over the last 3 events that we've had, we've distributed about 50 tons of food, probably served about 1,500 families. Awesome. And it was kind of a pilot program from Líderes Campesinos to see if we could be able to do it. And since we were so successful, 2026 will be scheduled out for the entire year, every other month, the second Saturday. And, you know, we welcome the volunteers, anybody that can help, just because it takes quite a few people to get this done and make it, you know, successful. I think we've managed to have over 90. I think this last one, we had over 100 volunteers. So thank you all for coming out and helping us out.
You should have told Coach Maldonado.
He was out there.
Oh, I was like, you could have the girls out there.
I think he had like
Sorry,
10
there's girls
of
out
his students or something like that, one out there as well. And then attended the groundbreaking this morning too, which was a great event. And thanks to the funding, we're gonna have a substation, and it was cold out there, but it was really good. It's well attended. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. It's been a busy couple weeks. I apologize. I'll agree with you on the apologies. I was not at the last council meeting, nor at the tree lighting, nor at the Christmas parade. I wasn't even in this country. So, had so much fun on my trip to Israel. I learned so much, and I've got to say it's absolutely opened my eyes to who Shafter is. Shafter is such a beautiful place. We said that this morning in the groundbreaking. The best part of Shafter isn't really Shafter, it's the people. And what what was learned through that process sitting in Israel is how they have kind of come alongside one another. I kind of thought Shafter was the only place in the world that did it, but I guess Israel does it too. And they come alongside one another, they support one another, and man, it was so amazing to watch that. Well, that's who we are. And that's the best part of who Shafter is watching people come together for the sake of the person next to them. And I love, love, love watching that. A huge thank you. I know Rachel was in here before, but I guess she's not. You know, all those videos. But thank you for having our social media. Our social media is pretty large. I love seeing that grow. And it was nice because I wasn't able to be here, but I was able to watch online. I was able to see what was going on. And it's just so cool when you get to see everyone come together the way that they do and be present in that. And it was such an honor to be a part of that, to be a part of our staff. We have the best staff. End of story. Shafter, you can say I'm biased, maybe, but Shafter has the best staff. There's no one better. And it warms my heart when we walk into a room and you got Perry wearing a masquerade mask. I don't even know what that was. And it was just wonderful to get to see all of this, and I absolutely love it. So I'm giddy from ear to ear. Love watching everybody come together the way you guys have. Love watching our police force out there. I kind of turned and looked at Chief at one point, going, "Wow, we got a lot of people out here. This is great." And it is so cool to see that and to see how everyone is coming together. Man, I can't say thank you guys enough. I cannot say thank you enough. And I promise, Ms. Root, we're going to work through that with Cinco de Mayo because we do want to make sure those things continue on. That is not to go down. That is to only go up. We want to see that increase. So this last year was a lot of fun and continue to have a lot of fun doing it with you guys. So thank you. All right, with that said, we're going to move into our consent calendar. This evening on consent calendar, we have 15 items. Please don't forget that item number 15 is going to be pulled to manager report number 5. I'm going to do a brief read through of these items for this evening and we'll get started. Item number 1 is to approve general checks. Number 2 is to approve payroll. Number 3 is to accept the treasurer's report for October of 2025. Number 4, to adopt resolution number 3052. Number 5, adopt resolution number 3053. Number 6, ratify the MOU between the city and SEIU Local 521 for the period of January 3rd, 2026 through December 31st, 2028. Number 7, approve and adopt the revised Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration and Federal Transit Administration drug and alcohol testing policy. Any other words on that one? That was every word on that one. Number 8, adopt resolution 3054, approving and adopting a recognized obligation payment schedule covering the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Number 9, adopt resolution 3055, approving and adopting a proposed administrative budget for the period July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Number 10, declare the list of equipment in this item as surplus property and authorize the sale or disposal of said items through a public sale process or auction as necessary. Number 11, authorize the finance director of public works, authorize the finance director or public works director to sign the delegated maintenance agreement with the Department of Transportation for street sweeping for the route Central Valley Highway from East Euclid to West Tulare. Number 12, approve request for proposal documents for the drilling of well number 22 and 23 and authorize the release of said projects for formal bid. Number 13, accept the public improvements completed for the Shafter Aquatics Improvement project. You guys keep your eyes open. That's getting big. You're going to see some stuff pop up in the next 2 weeks. And authorize the Deputy Public Works Director to file a notice of completion and acceptance of work for said improvements. Number 14, introduce for second reading and adopt ordinance number 773 for the Community Facilities District number 0815. Remember, number 15 was pushed. And number 16, approve and adopt the revised Shafter Library and Learning Center SLLC privacy policy, which was attached to this report. Questions, comments, or concerns? If hearing none or seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion and a second to carry, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, a second by Council Member Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado?
Yes.
Prout?
Yes.
Olvera?
Yes.
Espinoza?
Yes.
And Givens.
Yes, there's a lot said there. Okay, this evening we are going to move into our management reports. We have 5 items on the management report docket. I do want to be mindful. Item number 5 is being pushed into January with the workshop, but in its place, we're going to move in consent calendar item number 15. So let's get started. Item number 1 this evening is the civic engagement with student councils. Well, hello, ma'am. How are you?
Good. Honorable Mayor and members of the Shafter City Council, Rebecca Bernal, Community Services Supervisor. I'm here to discuss the continuation of our Student Civic Engagement Program, which connects our local student leaders with both local and state government operations. The program consists of 3 main components. The first being an educational trip to Sacramento to tour the Capitol and meet with elected officials, followed by a structured visit to City Hall where they meet with key staff members, and then an opportunity to shadow the Shafter Council during a City Council meeting. For Shafter High, given their large student council, we're proposing to continue including their core leadership, which is the president, the vice president, and the 4 class presidents. This ensures manageable group sizes and maintains meaningful representation. In terms of logistics, we're recommending a charter bus transportation to Sacramento for greater scheduling flexibility and reliability. This is all the same as last year. The total budget for this initiative is $5,624, which includes student polos at $25 each, charter bus transportation at $3,500, and the meals. This will be paid for from the Community Services Promotions budget. And this expenditure is not considered a gift of public funds, as it provides equal opportunity for participation across all local schools, promotes civic engagement and positive representation of Shafter, and serves as an educational purpose benefiting our community's future leaders. I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have. Thank you for your consideration.
Very good seeing you up here doing this report too. That's kind of a nice little twist. I like it. Council, any questions, comments? All right, hearing none, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion in a second, please.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbon.
Yes, Ms. Bernal, thank you so very much. That was a nice move, David. Saw what you did there. That was really good. Number 2 is the adopt urgency ordinance number 774 to amend Title 17. Say zoning ordinance under section 11.200 relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units to comply with recent changes in state law.
Alrighty. Hey, good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Good to see you all. Yeah, so we're proposing an urgency ordinance number 774 to amend Title 17, the zoning ordinance of the Shafter Municipal Code, section 11.200, pertaining to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, or ADUs and JADUs. So recently, the governor signed into law 4 new bills, 3 of those which are effective January 1st, 2026. One of those which went into effect sometime in October. That would be AB 462. Assembly Bill 462 really is concerning the permitting process for coastal development permits. Since Shafter is not located within a coastal development zone, that's not really applicable to us. But I put it up on there for informational purposes, and it is included in the staff report. The 3 that really do pertain to our local agency and other jurisdictions throughout the state are Assembly Bill 1154, Senate Bill 9, and Senate Bill 543. So Assembly Bill 1154 essentially prohibits short-term rentals for junior accessory dwelling units and removes the owner occupancy requirement for JADUs that have their own separate sanitation facilities. So if they share the sanitation facilities with the primary single-family residence, they are also required to have a owner reside on the property. But this narrows the requirement for those that have their own separate individual facilities for sanitation. Senate Bill 9 now creates a penalty for local agencies that fail to submit ADU ordinance to the Housing and Community Development Department within 60 days of adoption. The penalty is really that the ADU ordinance for the city will be considered null and void. Senate Bill 543 proposes various changes to ADU and JADU size. Now it clarifies interior habitable space when considering the maximum size of the ADUs or JADUs. It also clarifies the number of ADUs that are allowed on a property. Also, typically there are 4 categories of statutorily exempt ADUs that are allowed under California law. And so now they have extended the interpretation of those laws to allow combinations of those four categories. It also touches on impact fees and application processing timelines. So that was generally a summary of those laws. And so, yeah, in order to remain valid and enforceable, we need to amend zoning ordinance section 11.200 to comply with the changes to ADU law by the January 1st state deadline. So we're proposing this urgency ordinance, which takes effect immediately upon adoption. However, it has been explained to staff that the Attorney General office may have some trouble with any urgency ordinances that affect zoning and planning law. So on the back end, we would still have to propose a formal zone code amendment that goes through the formal adoption process under a non-urgency measure. So in the future, staff will be bringing a recommendation to Planning Commission and then 2 readings with the City Council for an actual zone code amendment. Yeah, so my recommendation tonight is that the City Council waive the full reading and adopt by title only urgency ordinance number 774, amending Title 17, Section 11.200 relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units to comply with recent changes in state ADU law. With that, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much, sir. I feel like SB 9 and 10 came out with a mandated law, no clarity on what the law actually held, and then they're just making it up as they go along, which sounds like the state of California, and then forcing it down everyone's throats to say comply or else, and makes it difficult. So with that said,
That's why we told them we didn't like it.
we said it from the get-go on 9 and 10. We didn't care for it. Yes, sir.
I do have a question. Not,
Yes, of course.
you may know this or not, but will this affect any current, and if there is any current JDUs or ADUs under construction, will they fall under the old rule, or will they have to comply with this now that we're gonna go into January? If,
Right.
You know,
Great question, and Margot, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that any applications that we have received already will still have to just comply with whatever is in effect now. Right, I would consider that it's the same as like any building permit application. So if they get it in with the current building code, they have to comply with that building code, whereas if, you know, it's after January 1st and new California building code is in effect, then they would have to comply with the recent changes. Is that generally?
Yeah, I mean, technically, because it's an urgency ordinance
Mhm.
and it's effective upon adoption, technically, these could be the requirements tomorrow.
Okay.
So if the council wants to allow applications that are in the pipeline to be judged by the old ADA rules or under a current ordinance, we can indicate that in the urgency ordinance and say that the effective date of these regulations is January 1st.
I just, you know, curious if there's anybody that's doing these projects, if it's gonna affect them and now they have to comply, you know, with this, and that
Right.
changes their budget entirely. So
Yeah.
that's the issue there. So.
Yeah, great question. And looking at this with the overview, you know, some of this stuff is related to owner occupancy, short-term rentals, deed restrictions. I don't, and, you know, with this, we're getting rid of some of the subjective standards like landscaping requirements, so.
They'd be better off with
Yeah,
this ordinance
this
than the old
ordinance,
ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a question. How do we go about enforcing these rules and making sure that they're in compliance with the people that are gonna do this?
Yeah, so moving forward, whenever we get a new application for a JADU or ADU, we would typically, you know, it's a collaborative effort between planning and building. So we're doing our end to check that the ADU and the JADU application complies with the zoning ordinance that we have in place, that it meets the objective design standards, that it meets California ADU law. And of course, building department is going to make sure that it's built to code, that they have the proper drawings and, permit requirements in place to get this thing built safely.
And are there limits to the size of the ADUs as to how many people can actually be in there?
As to how many people can live within the ADUs, we don't regulate that, but we do regulate the size of the ADUs and JADUs. So there's class 1 ADUs and then class 2 ADUs, and we do have minimum and maximum size requirements that they have to meet.
So there's no limit on how many people can be in them?
How many people?
There are occupancy limits in the building code, but they're very broad. They would allow quite a few people in there. but it's not something that we can impose in in an ADU ordinance.
Correct.
And we can't restrict by familial relationships, for example, because that's against both the California and United States constitutions. So the only thing that we could theoretically regulate is the occupancy limits that are contained in the building code, but those are really broad.
Thank you.
Any other questions, folks? All right. I guess the only thing I would ask, does council have a desire to push this to a January 1st adoption, or are we fine with doing it as of today? I think his response made more sense for someone who's wanting to do an ADU or JDU to do it today.
Right.
I just want to make sure that you didn't have a,
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that it's not gonna impact any current projects that are going on where we're gonna have, you know, homeowners come and say, hey, you know, this is what I applied for, this is what I was told I could do, and now you're changing it.
Yeah.
That's the whole clue there.
If you think of it this way, every time the legislature passes an ADU bill, it chips away more authority that you have in regulating anything. So that's why my comment about this is even more flexible than what we have before. It has to be, because in order to comply with the law, that's why I don't think it's going to be, it's going to have that kind of an impact. So if it becomes effective, if you approve it tonight, becomes effective tomorrow, they're probably better off.
all right, folks. Well, with that said, I need a motion to adopt the urgency ordinance number 774, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
So it's better bill now, right? Yes. Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Item number 3 is the Fire Services Feasibility Study Award. I like this one. Hello, Mr. James.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shaft City Council, Michael James with the City Manager's Office. As you're aware, the City of Shafter receives fire protection and emergency response service through a contract with the County of Kern. But to ensure and support equitable and long-term service planning, the city issued a request for proposals this past October to have a consultant evaluate the feasibility of establishing a municipal fire department, or at least alternative service delivery options. So we received proposals from 3 qualified consulting firms, and those proposals were evaluated using a predetermined criteria that included experience, methodology, cost, qualifications, references, and local knowledge. Matrix Consulting Group submitted the proposal with the highest overall score based on the extensive experience, detailed and customized approach, and the highly qualified project team that they prepare to use for this. If awarded, the proposed study will evaluate current and future operational needs, as well as required costs and governance structure for a city-operated fire department. But we'll also review the current county agreement and assess financial and operational implications related to any potential changes. So this study is expected to take 6 months to complete, and there will be a steering committee. At least the consultant is proposing a steering committee that will participate in the development of the plan leading up to the submittal of a draft plan. So the total cost will not exceed $75,000 and will include optional public engagement services as well. So the community has a stake in this plan as well. So this work is not reflected in this year's fiscal year budget. So the only funding strategy really available to the council is a general fund appropriation of about $75,000. So the request tonight is to award the study as well as the budget to fund the study. So with that, the city manager or I can respond to any questions or concerns you may have.
Thank you very much, sir. Council, questions, comments, or concerns?
So the objective is trying to see if we could have our own fire department.
The pros and cons you'll have, so they'll look at 5-10-year cost projections, the short-term and long-term effects of implementing a city-operated fire department, correct?
Okay. And then in the process, you have already mentioned it, but it was going to have the community involved in it, correct?
Correct. I
Okay.
believe there was an option in the consultant proposal to invest in public engagement, which was up to 3 public meetings, I believe.
And that be like a town hall?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mike, is that just the core fire department, or is that talking about the one that's gonna be in Gossamer?
Citywide,
Um,
citywide, I believe, Councilor
So-
Espinoza. So yes, correct.
both of them.
We're correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Proud, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbon.
Yes, thank you once again, sir. Item number 4 is the discussion and direction on annual discretionary allocation of the 4,000 direct and 25,000 in-kind per council member for community events. And I'm handing this to you, City Manager.
Yes,
All right, sir.
Mayor and Council, a little bit of background on this one. You guys held 2 public meetings on this one, the first happening or occurring on October 15th. There was significant discussion and you asked for a study and presentation to come back by the finance director. On December 3rd, 2024, the finance director presented council with 3 funding options, which fix both the audit trail and some of the other issues we had in funding these events. During that meeting, staff was directed by the majority of council to allocate 4,000 in direct funding and 25,000 in in-kind funding to each council member, which provided each council member with greater authority than was previously given. Previously, you guys had to vote each event as a majority. Now you can individually sponsor events going forward. This was asked to be brought back for a second look, and I'm available for any questions, concerns.
Thank you very much. I wasn't here for the meeting, so can I get some general idea on why it was being brought back? I
Yeah,
believe you asked.
I brought it back. And the reason for it was, we had a meeting before the Christmas parade and perhaps maybe where I wasn't thinking about the fee part or this estimate bill at that time. At our meeting, there was proposed a $10,000, I guess, in-house charge. Which I get the fact that there's 2 council members, at least 2 council members that are part of the Lions Club, it will be would have been covered. But my concern where that opened the door was if there was no council member that was part of the Lions Club and there was no opportunity of any council members to sponsor it, what would happen? That's where the question becomes. And I wasn't just looking at being selfishly motivated where I could say, well, we're covered, doesn't matter now, but I was looking at long term. What would happen? And at the end, and then when I brought this discussion up, and Marcos could correct me if I'm wrong, but at that point, the club itself would have to pay for that in-house service. There's no guarantee that a council member has to sponsor or participate to say. So with that becomes more to me, it becomes like playing politics with taxpayers' money because you got to make sure the council members agree or like you or, in the real world, because if not, then there's a chance they might not get sponsored. I mean, just trying to be real. But for the most part, I just didn't want to put ourselves in the box that there's 25,000 each council member. Then you depend on 4 or 5 council members to support the events. If there's an event like Deanna Roots, if the Christmas parade was, I don't know, 5 hours, I didn't pay attention to the time, but whatever amount it was, 9 hours or 6 hours, whatever it was already 13,000. Deanna Roots, Cinco de Mayo is a lot longer. I'm guessing, I'm not no professional, I didn't do the math, but I will say at least 20,000. If my is tied up in all the other events that the Lions does, and Kathy may be tied up, I don't know, I'm just putting scenarios out there, but I just don't want to put ourselves in a box where an event may not get covered. Then what would happen? If even the city or another service club decides to do some events, maybe there's another service club may get active like the Lions. Then what would happen? Then we just now close ourselves into a box. And I just didn't know if this was the best solution. And I understand that we had a couple meetings, we talked about it, but sometimes you don't see the big picture till you go through it, like a pilot program. Then you see the pros and cons, you see the hurdles that could come out of it. And I think us being the first one, there was a lot of hurdles. And, being again, I was a little stunned when it was mentioned that there was an estimate of 10,000. So, wow, okay. I didn't know that had already started, to say. That's where I was off guard. I was caught off guard on that one. I wasn't, so, and being now, I am part of the single mile committee as well. I shared it with Diana Root, say, hey, just so you know, as a part of the single mile committee, this is what's happening. And have they reached out to you? Have they told you in 4 months, there's an estimate, a chance that there's gonna be a $20,000, as soon as you sign the permit, you walk out that front door, it's gonna be $20,000 already in the hole. That's what I call it, but I understand there's council members has $25,000 each. And there's also that $4,000 that we could use as our discretion to support or to sponsor. I'm assuming a nonprofit organization.
Yeah, the 4,000 is really direct funding so that you guys can go out and you guys can buy tables, you can sponsor, I mean, if there's a public interest to sponsor a little league team, something of that nature. You could use that. Oops.
Step into your microphone, please.
So that was just my concern. I was, my solution to this was just me, myself, thinking about this is just put all of our money in the big bowl and just cover all the events. That's just my quick solution. I'm not no accountant or nothing like that, but that was just.
Okay.
That's it.
So let me walk through that real quick. So the in-kind has been around, well, it's been around as long as any type of state tax or local tax group has been feasibly operating. So for 35 years, Cinco de Mayo, you've had to deal with in-kind the whole time. The only difference between the two is when you fill a permit out, just like you guys would have done with Lions Club, that permit comes into city staff, they look at it, review it, make sure it's good, and then away they go. It's one of two things is gonna happen. Either you can make it where they can come to a council member and just say, hey, I need the in-kind for this, or B, they come here and it comes in front of city council and we vote on it as a whole. I believe even with and Roger can correct me if I'm wrong, even with the updated provisions that we've talked about in the discretionary allotment, there's still a provision sitting inside of there that if all those in-kinds are gone, y'all still come back up to the council and you can still ask for those fundings. The problem that we encountered was there was no rightful way to track in-kind because too often people were expecting it to happen and not asking for it to happen. So in this scenario, instead of an expectation, I demand more or less that my services, or the services are rendered for me and my event. It now needed to become more of an ask. Hey, I just need to make sure my services are rendered for the event. You're not going to get a no. I mean, if you start getting a no, then you got a different problem. But that was never the intention behind it. But we are trying to find a way to track it and make sure it makes sense across the board and it's handled. I think Cinco de Mayo, I think I've seen numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I'm just using you for the example. It's like $30,000 to $33,000 in kind services, if I remember correctly.
I want to say it's much smaller than that.
Is it much
Roger.
smaller than that?
It was probably close to Lions. What, about 10 grand? Yeah.
So which one was the 30th? Was that first Friday?
No.
One of them was up there.
Harvest Festival.
Harvest Festival, that was the one.
It was 23,000.
23,000. So as you can see, we do a lot of events and the numbers that you're looking at on the in-kind was a divided amount based on the 5 on what we've typically spent throughout a year. Christmas parade, Cinco de Mayo, harvest events, First Fridays, and I think there was one more that we did, might have been National Night Out. I can't remember. So that was the intention behind it. I don't think anyone's trying to limit. I think we're trying to open up that horizon to make sure it's more accessible.
But yeah, so with that, I mean, I think that I agree because city manager and I have had discussions on it and I agree with that as council members, I mean, if we're allocated that funding, it's up to that group to approach us and ask us, hey, would you be willing to sponsor these programs? Well, if we choose not to, then what happens, you know? And it's kind of, I feel like that should not be the case. I think that it should be maybe either one, like the options are vote on the events and then bring them through like we've done before. But I think doing it this way, I mean, today, you know, you went ahead and contributed out of your budget for the Christmas parade. Councilmember Espinoza did the same thing. But if that wouldn't happen, then here we are, you know, it may have been 2, it may have been 3. And then if we were going to help support Cinco de Mayo and we don't have enough, then what? You know, so it's kind of like if we vote on the events and then put them in there and just budget it out. That way the allocation can be there and that you can track it for auditing purposes or whatever we need to do. And the budget, then we can go in that direction.
So
That's an option.
you're talking about allocating on something that hasn't been permitted yet.
So you create a budget for special events. How was it done before? I mean, the numbers were being reported out as far as like, hey, you know, these events have been taking place and this is what's been paid.
The problem with before is most of these events weren't approved ahead of time. The city manager was taking a lot of discretion in allocating the funding and the staff time on it without council approval. And then they were brought retro. Most of the in-kind was not tracked. It was just forced to be absorbed into operational budgets without any further accounting. So that's where Roger had some of the issues pulling some of the history on this stuff and putting together the budgets. To clarify, it doesn't, whether you guys vote events to sponsor or you guys have independent allocations, it does the exact same thing. It's just a different mechanism.
It just removes the political.
It's political regardless. You still have to have three. You have to have majority or you, and if a majority doesn't approve the funding, then the event doesn't go forward with city sponsorship. And that's all of these events. No event is guaranteed is the problem. Council has to vote these events, allocate the funding, because you guys have power of the purse.
That's why I hope that makes a little sense. Whether we do it from an individual perspective in the conversation that we had, I do remember this from last year. Whether we do it from an individual perspective, which means now there's not a need to come to a council meeting and work through it, because you're right. Everybody kind of knows each other. Again, it's the beauty of Shafter. And so it's like, hey, I can just go to the council member, make sure I get what I need, and I'm good. I don't have to go to a council meeting to try to figure it out. You could do it that way, which is what's set right now. You could revert back to what was, and then make sure that all your permits and everything is situated, said and done, and you've got all your ducks in a row ahead of the time, and then make sure you had a council meeting to make sure it's approved that way. And again, I would go as far as telling you, even at this, if it was, I think, I don't know, you might have just said it. If it's fully funded, we have no available funds left, it still has a chance now coming back to council to say, hey, by the way, you guys have already allocated everything, but this event came up. How do we go about doing this? Ma'am?
I have a question. Could it be worked not to have $4,000 per council member and just put it in one pot?
Absolutely. And that would revert to the mechanism of you guys voting and majority would designate where the funding.
All right, because it seems to me that in our community, we have, in my whole tenure, we have had lots of us involved in community events. And community events are some major, large expenses and some very small.
Yeah.
And so we've been able to handle them. Now, if we weren't running it through finance with proper authority, then I think that's easy to correct too. But my other concern at this point is we're in a stage where we've brought in a lot of big companies into this community. And these big companies have talked to us individually and said that they're willing to sponsor. They see the success that we're having. They see the success that's happening in our community. They like to have their name up there. And I'm not talking about a $10 sponsor. I'm talking about thousands of dollars sponsors because they're doing it in other cities. And why are we being left out? Because we don't understand to go get it. And they could put their names out there and they would help us out. We could do bigger things with Cinco de Mayo, with the parade, with anything. And we're just sitting back here naive and not even paying attention. These people are willing and they're coming here because they like what we have. They like what they see. And so here we are just talking about a few $1,000s that we're all concerned about because it's not allocated and we're on the council and we're being political about it. Well, knock it off. I'm serious, guys. It's serious. Because other organizations that I'm in do not understand that either. And how are we going to get it across to them? And I think when Lance came on, he saw that. He saw what we have here. And he's trying to force us to get to do that. Now, I agree, through the years, it's been a lot harder because it takes more work, more effort for you to get in and get these monies because it costs more to do an event. But that's what we have to do. And we could be organized today and visit these people and they would help us out.
You're talking about the separation of direct and in-kind.
Yes, I mean, put it all in a pot, just put it all in the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Because I wonder too, how can I put on a $4,000 event with money that's allocated to this position? Well, you don't have to look at it that way. I mean, we're just looking at somehow sponsoring some little time, a little thing that each councilman, but that even would get political, because all of a sudden they'll say, well, I don't want to ask that council member, they've spent all of theirs, or who knows what they're going to come up with. I mean, it's an easy solution. We just have to work together and do it.
This is just me, again, you keep talking on the 4,000, not the 25,000 on the in-kind.
That's right. Just put all the money in the same thing for the
Okay.
council one. We
I'm
don't need
making
to
sure
have-
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, we don't need to have. And it's true, when you got into the Harvest Festival, who would have known that it was gonna grow so big?
Exactly.
And yet, who benefited? Not just Shafter people, but Bakersfield people and Wasco people and other people in our area, because they knew about it. They came over here. Our businesses will respond to that, and we're missing out.
Yeah, moving it to, and again, I think that's the flavor of the council here. You want to move it all to a singular pot for in-kind, you can do it along those lines.
That's
If
right.
you got to figure out how you track that, but it's kind of one and the same. So you want to move it into a singular pot and then just make sure it comes back. Obviously, when a permit is when you file a permit, it's still going to come here and we're still going to have that conversation about it. But the only thing is it's the unknown. Yeah, I understand that.
So we put it all in one pot and then we vote on it, right?
Yep.
So, okay, so, that to me seems like it has a measure of accountability, so I'm all right with that.
So and I would just highlight the differences. You guys put it in one pot, that's majority rules. You guys have individual allocations, there is no majority rules, and you guys can support causes as you deem fit. So as long as you guys are good with majority rules on it, the only thing I would say, designate the events, we'll associate a budget on it, and we can go forward. It will remove your guys' individual authority then to sponsor stuff, but that's kind of up to you guys. Either way, we establish an audit trail we can now track.
Yeah, and going out to get sponsors, the city doesn't have to be involved in it.
Well, I think you're talking two different things, Ms. Proud.
Well, that's what I want to know,
No,
though.
but we're always happy to help
Yes.
nonprofits as
Yes.
we've done in the past to find the contact person
Right.
or like with Walmart, identify when they have funding available or anything like that. We're always happy to help with that.
That would help a lot. Unfortunately, we don't have the inside connection to say as an outside.
See, you're already pushing it down instead of saying, hey, we can do it. Just get in there and say, we can do it.
I'm just being real. We don't know the contact person. Being real.
And we can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
All I want to know is if it's not sponsored by the city, it's sponsored by so-and-so.
Guys, if any, and I will throw this out there, if any nonprofit needs to be
right.
connected with a local business and we have a connection to them,
Mhm,
as we've done with everybody else, we will help connect you.
mhm.
We have a great econ team. They're doing a ton of work to get out there. Look, it's not expected that you guys are gonna know. I mean, Walmart's a prime example. You guys already met Nacho, everybody did the tour, all of council. You guys have a great connection there already. I think he gets 15,000 in allocated funding to sponsor a local event. There's a lot of these out there. We're happy to connect you. That doesn't mean you're gonna get funded. We cannot guarantee that. It's not the city's money. We're just establishing a relationship.
Right.
So then when the limit is reached, then we would have to come back and make a decision on whether.
No,
Anytime.
it removes the individual, so there's no limit more or less anymore. There's a limit, there's no limit, and we vote on it as a whole.
But
So instead, let's use scenario, let's use a Christmas parade. In the scenario of the Christmas parade, Lions would actually not have to go in front of council to actually do a vote on in-kind services, police services, public works services, city staff services.
I'm not worried about one event. I'm saying that when we get to the limit, towards the end of the year,
That's not the case here because that means nothing anymore because it comes back in front of council as a whole. The only separation that you see is instead of having to come back and wait for a majority vote on it, that's not how it's being quote unquote handled this time. There's no need for a majority vote. Putting everything back into a pot means it comes back to a majority vote. It also means that everything has to be,
when you're talking about putting everything in the pot, is that the 40 or is that the 2,500?
it's 20, get my bearings right. It's 29,000 per.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So when we hit that limit, we come back and we make a decision whether we're gonna continue to go on or not do it, right? That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
I just wanna be accountable.
You'll have to bring that back, I presume? Or can you,
I need some direction, at least a consensus push. What do you guys want?
consensus to put it all back in one pocket, have it come before council as a vote, as a whole,
And you guys will
instead of individual allocations?
designate the events you guys will be sponsoring at that point.
I don't think that's a legitimate case. The permit T, am I saying that right? The permit T would need to actually put their permit out and have it addressed ahead of time. Because you don't know, for one reason or another, if someone doesn't do an event. Listen, we didn't do the harvest event this year. So we would have put money into a pot for a harvest event that we didn't do.
So if a vendor failed to file permits,
Absolutely.
we would not fund that event.
That's the only stipulation here, and I'm hoping everyone understands that, but it is what it is. So everyone has to file their permits and do it correctly.
And that all goes through staff when it's a small group.
You guys have been good. 35 years, you guys have been rock solid with it. Everyone agree to this?
Yep.
Okay,
I agree.
so the
We will-
direction would be to put it in one pot. Do we need to have that?
We will bring it back with methodology to associate with the events. And then at that point, you guys can, if you're not going to designate events, we will wait for special event permits to be filed. And then as long as they are not retro, which would prevent us funding stuff, we'll bring them to you guys.
Very good. All right, thank you all very much. Much appreciated. No further discussion on that item. Excuse me. We did pull consent calendar item number 15, which will be our item number 5 for management report. Item number 15 is to accept the low bid from SMB Sons Incorporated in the amount of $341,110.23 for the Shafter Library and Learning Center Chess Garden project, and approve a budget amendment to increase project funding by $100,000 to $350,000 total from general fund reserves. Dr. Franz.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, good evening. My name is David Franz. I'm your Community Services Director. So you heard the recommendation is for approval of a budget amendment and acceptance of a bid for a chess garden. But I wanted to step back a little bit and ask a question that I've been asking myself over the 5 years that we've been working on this project. What is a chess garden? And why did I name it Chess Garden? Because it's very confusing. And I think that putting, stepping back from that title, I think is helpful. So I've got some pictures kind of showing the conceptual drawings. For most people who would use this project, who would use this space, they won't think of it as a chess garden. It's not required to use it for playing chess. It's mostly an extension of the library into the outdoor space. And that was really kind of the hope, was to take an underutilized space, and really the last underutilized space at the property, and make use of it. So this is an aerial, kind of an above view. The space on the right is currently grass next to the fire department. And this would enclose it, which would make a spot that, you would feel comfortable having, kids in without fear that they would run out into the road. And it also adds seating and some amenities that make it more useful as a space to sit and read or relax. I would also note that part of the value of this particular space is that for most of the year, this is actually the most comfortable outdoor side of the building. So when the sun casts an afternoon shadow on this side of the building, and so this, in addition to the shade structure that's there, there's a lot of shade that's just naturally occurring because of the way the building is oriented. This is standing in the plaza, looking towards the area for the proposed chess garden as it is today, with the chain link fence. The HVAC system is on the other side of that. Sure doesn't look the same. And so this is the proposal, which would include that fencing, some decorative landscaping, and a trellis. This is that space again. And here's another look on the other side of that fence. So you'll notice that it includes a wall around the HVAC system. I mean, that's partly for aesthetics, but it also
if you've ever been back there when the air conditioning kicks on, it's quite loud. It kind of kills the vibe, as the kids say. And hopefully, if the wall would dampen the sound significantly. So, and you'll notice, I mean, obviously there's a lot of additional planting and some pathways and seating. And so this is, you know, from, if you were to turn backwards, continue walking towards the street and look back, this is the space as it is now. This is that corner kind of up and to the left next to the building. And this is to continue walking backwards towards the street. That curved wall is on the other side of that is the HVAC system. This is the 2020, yeah, this is the 20 by 20 shade structure, and underneath it is a large chessboard. That's actually can be rolled up, so it's fabric, and so that can be also used as like a meeting space, as kind of a space for reading. We don't have it in this project, but the idea of this project was to create the possibility of a door through those windows there on the left. And so it would be directly accessible through the library. So this is that space as it is today. And this is from the same angle, so a little elevated, but you can see the curving wall that is on the street, as well as seating and the large chessboard. And this is just to reorient you again in terms of the space. So if you look at that, it's about 4,000 square feet of space. That space already exists, and it is used occasionally. People go over there and sit. It's not used in the way the rest of the spaces are. I believe this would enhance and allow the space to be used a lot more. There are, let's see, 11 individual seats and 4 benches in the proposed design. And so with that, we had 2 qualifying bids that we opened, and the low bid was from S&B Sons Incorporated for $341,110.23, which is above the $50,000 that was allocated, and that's why the budget amendment is proposed as well. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council questions? I know this was pulled. I'm not sure.
I requested to be pulled, but it was under consent calendar for $100,000 that would have been voted on all in one vote. I'm glad for this presentation. Hearing Councilmember Proud making her comments. Can this not be where you could get sponsors, where the recreation is getting sponsors for their?
So, yes, like the skate park, like any other park, you could get sponsors for this. Typically, cities build these out themselves and they allocate funding. But yeah, it could get sponsorship. I will say, I don't believe we've had any sponsored parks in the city to date, including the first skate park and the second one that's planned in North Shasta.
It's just the model that the Shasta Recreation Park District is doing with their complex, how they're sponsoring their sections of their complexes being pointed out for, I guess, designated for sponsorship, which sponsors have sponsored certain parts of the park, either the parking lot or the tennis courts or racquetball or something. Just because Councilmember Prout had brought out that we have a lot of sponsors, a lot of businesses that are willing and want to put their name out there. I mean, that could help the taxpayers of $100,000.
Absolutely. I will say on this one, time value of money is getting a little bit attenuated. This project, and that's no fault of David's, absolutely. This project was initiated in 2021. David struggled against the county on CDBG for quite some time, which is the result of kind of the increase on this. You give us 6 months to a year, I'm sure we can get, I know that's been the REC's approach to it. We could pull sponsorships as well, but I would kind of hesitate to put that forward because it is going to increase in cost the more we wait on this.
So can that practice start maybe after this project, where things in the community parks or in the
I don't think we have any other parks planned, but we can.
or any
definitely
type
put it
of
in.
projects like that, murals or something like that in the community.
Actually, I
like-
think the next one coming up would be probably the skate park restroom for $500,000, a single stall. If you want us to see if we can get sponsorships on that, we could definitely go that route.
Well, just a comment was made, there's a lot of people, a lot of businesses out there want to sponsor, put their names on certain things, so.
So the request to pull this was to look for sponsorships tonight?
No, actually, this whole, the request, it was $100,000 that was gonna be voted on in one consent vote, right? So it's just for the people to know where's that 100,000, what was the 100,000, why was the 100,000 gonna be used? It was just a increase in cost.
No, sir. The request was not to put $100,000 through. The request was to put $341,110.23 through.
Yeah, but it
For
was,
clarity's sake, it was $100,000
funds.
more because of the overrun of the project, not for your sake, but just based on construction time. So I don't want to misconstrue that there's $100,000 cost here. It's $341,000.
right, but there's more money added to it, to the project?
Overall, from what we anticipated, yes, but we're not asking for $100,000. We're asking for 341.
Right, so there was an increase.
If that's where you want to go with that, yes.
Okay, it was an increase. All right.
With that said, council, any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion and a second for approval, please.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, a second by Councilmember Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Rivera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Franz. By the way, I do see where you got chess from, right there in the center, right there, a little chessboard right there in the center, sir. All right, with that said, we are going to move into our city manager comments and reports, and I do have one, but I will end with that. sir.
No, I would rather cede my time so you can make that announcement.
You have none. That's what's going on. Department director comments and reports before I go on. Oh, I got one. See? Don't go there. It doesn't work like that.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shaft City Council, Michael James with the City Manager's Office one last time. Here to update you on the MCCF repurposing project.
Oh, yes.
Staff are actually finalizing a request for proposals for this project. Primary focus of the MCCF site is going to be a new central location for the police department. But there's also considerations for housing the IT department and other staff if space if the need exists and the space permits. So council previously approved releasing the request for proposals this past September as a design build project. Current version of the RFP only commits the city to receiving a building assessment, conceptual plans for possible uses, and cost estimates, which we're branding as phase one. Now, if a proposed use and costs associated with that use are acceptable to the council, then final design and construction can be awarded to the same company as an optional phase two. So the city manager's office will be managing this project, but it will be supported by other departments, including IT, Public Works, and the building department. We plan to release the request for proposals next month and could have an award recommendation to you as early as, the RFP will be released in January. We could have a award recommendation to you as early as March. But it is realistic that phase one, being the conceptual design, will take all of next year to complete. The city manager and I, of course, will keep you updated on our progress, and we can respond to any immediate questions or concerns you might have at this point.
Awesome.
Mayor and council members, Assistant City Manager James is being a bit coy on this one. However, his experience on this one, Vanessa and I did our best shot on this. He came over, he reformatted it, and he's going to bring it home. So I very much appreciate his expertise on this.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay.
Roger, can I have you up here? So here's the thing about Roger. Roger, if you don't know Roger, it's because of his humility. He's probably one of the most humble people that I know. And I can't thank you enough for who you are. He cares very, very much about the city. His family is in the city. This is home to him. Shafter has been notified that it has received the Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. This represents the highest standard in public sector budgeting from a nationally recognized organization. This award reflects exceptional collaboration across city departments and the dedication of the Finance Department. And so, kind sir, our Finance Director expertise here, Mr. Roger Sanchez, and the entire finance team, thank you so much for everything you guys continue to do, your professionalism, resilience, and commitment to excellence in the public service. Congratulations on your award.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
If I would have said it back there, he would have stood back there. I made him come up here on purpose. You, sir, are the epitome of exactly what humility looks like and the service that you continue to give to people. You care. And man, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that said, you've ceded your time, so you don't get city manager comments anymore. That's done. We're going to move into recess. We have 2 items on our closed session docket for this evening. Public employee performance evaluation for our city manager, and number 2, conference with legal counsel for an existing litigation. With that said, I need a motion and a second to carry us into recess, please.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, hearing none. Closed session, 7:36. Okay, welcome back from our closed session. I'm going to look to our city attorney to lead us out. Kind sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier tonight, City Council recessed into closed session. There were two items on the agenda. The first, public employee performance evaluation. The City Council conducted its annual performance evaluation of the city manager, and we have no reportable action. We also had a existing litigation matter in the matter of the Coalition for Clean Air versus the City of Shafter. And in that matter, the city council heard an update on that litigation, provided direction, and we have no reportable action. I should also mention that all members were present for that closed session. No, that concludes the report.
Fantastic. Nothing else on the docket for this evening. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
A motion.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Espinoza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call, I'm sorry. All those in favor with aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Guess what, folks? Merry Christmas for our last meeting in 2025 and a Happy New Year.